from that day on, and that was New Year's Eve, he stopped. I think it was like 2 days afterwards. He stopped for good.
And now he's like a pillar to the community.
And now he's amazing. I'll never ever forget that.
The time that he was your friend. Like, my favorite part of that story is, yes, you lived upstairs, but he was your 1,000% friend.
Unconditional love.
Didn't want anything from you.
Nope.
Didn't take from you.
Nope.
Didn't require.
Nope.
He was just your friend.
Exactly.
And that's why, like, I love whenever that friendship is threatened. Like, it may take you a minute to realize it, but you come back to that and you go, no, he's my friend.
I know. And believe me, we've had our
ups and downs.
Yeah. But so my sponsor puts it perfectly. She goes, the first 3 steps, I can't, God can, He will.
I love that.
And so that's basically how right now I'm in a really tough spot. Financially, and I know you don't like me to focus on the financial stuff,
no,
Linda. I know you want me to think positively, and I do.
Where it goes.
I know, and I do.
You're good.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
and
you're really good at it.
Somehow, my rent has been paid
all year,
and it's coming up, and I'm scared, and it's like I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know if I just give it up to God, that it'll be okay. And then one of the steps that's really important is number 4, where you write down all the things you're resentful about. And then who it is you're resentful against, what it is they did, how it made you feel, and what was your part in it. Because we sometimes don't see...
You own your 50.
You own your stuff.
Wow.
And then the 5th step is to then talk to your sponsor and read them the whole... You do a sex inventory, you do... the resentment list, there's like a whole bunch of things, a lot of writing. And that takes some people down too, because they can't handle it looking back.
Of seeing it, yeah.
And then you only are to tell one other person, and that usually is your sponsor. And then from then on, it's like, please fix my character defects. Hopefully God will help me fix them if I'm aware of them. And then the 9th step is also very huge. Hold on. This is a biggie. That's when you do your amends. I didn't get to that until 4 years ago.
I know. I remember that.
I had to make an amends to my ex-husband.
Yeah.
And I was terrified.
I remember that.
And I was like, it's time. It's time. So I met with him, and I just said, I'm sorry that I am owning up to everything. I'm sorry. I was an infidel. I was a bad wife. I was being a bad mother because I wasn't present. I spent our money on drugs and drinking, and I made horrible decisions. I put you in a bad spot. And he had tears coming out of his eyes. And he just gave me a big hug, and he goes, thank you. And then I got back in my car, and I just sobbed, because that was like that was a big amends I had to make.
Yeah.
And then you make a living amends. I think to my mom and to my kids, I've made a living amends, meaning I live what I preach, and I live.
What you preach, yes.
Yeah, and so I don't have to actually sit Charlie down and go, when you were 5, I'm sorry that I, smoked a cigarette and did a line. And
no, you're extremely transparent with them.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And they cheer you on.
Oh, my God.
Unconditionally every single day.
Every day.
Every day.
Oh, my gosh. They're so...
it brings tears to my eyes.
Oh, my God. They're the most amazing kids, and it's a great, great life. And there are times when I feel like, God, I would really love to have a drink just to calm me down. Yeah. But then I go, and then it just goes away. Just like, I ask my kids, I go, what would be worse, if I had a drink or if I had a cigarette? And they said, Evan goes, you know what? I think if you had a cigarette, they teach in school smoking is so bad, which is good, but they should probably teach the same thing about alcohol as well. Linda, don't cry. My sweet Linda. Oh. My kids they're going through a lot. My kids have gone through a lot with the divorce and having 2 families.
Laura, they're so proud of you.
Oh, Linda, thank you.
And they're super... Are you crying on my table?
You're
going to have to clean that.
I just watch them every time where where a child could judge you effortlessly and easy and go, you're a bad mother, you're this or you're that. And they think the very best of you.
When it says a lot when...
And I knew then that you're doing the right thing. You're a good mom.
You are. You're an amazing
mom.
And you've got to remember something.
You've
got to remember something. In this day and age, are you going to start crying too? Because it's all over. If you
she
two,
doesn't cry
listen,
easy.
I don't.
I don't either.
Out of the
This
two
is so
of you,
weird.
one of you can't, because otherwise, all three of us, it's going to be a nightmare. So if you start crying too, don't even. But in this day of I want, and everybody wants the next best thing, and they want the new game that's out, and the new phone, and the new this, and the new that. Your kids couldn't care less.
No.
Like if you said, "Hey, money's tight this month.
We're doing
I
nothing.
can't get you this."
Okay.
Whatever.
Right.
There's not this mom. You're the worst mom in the world because you can't get me this.
And they don't get mad at you and throw your past in your face.
Nope.
I don't think you've ever had to hear from them. Your past.
Never.
Ever.
No.
And that's what kids do.
For what has happened, and you're very transparent with them. I'm around you all the time.
Yeah.
You've never
sugar-coated
anything.
No.
And you've never tried to make up by just being their friend and
Yeah.
letting them get away with
Filling
stuff.
in this
And
box
you're their
buying
mom.
them this.
And that's a huge testament.
No, it is. That's
huge testament.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always respected you for, because you do not have bratty kids.
No, I
at
actually
all.
don't.
No.
And so to have what's happened to you when they were so young, and that's the time where they're most impressionable, to be so well-rounded and just...
solid.
Yeah, exactly.
Solid.
And never maybe in a moment of where they're having a bad day or whatever, throw something back at you is...
No.
amazing.
Well, and that is also a testament. I got to give credit to my ex-husband and the woman that he's with, because they've raised them as well, 50% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a work of three people. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't take all the credit, but
but your portion of that, when you came out, you were on shaky legs.
Yeah.
You came out just trying to brush your teeth for the day and get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And the ugliness that ensued when the divorce happened, they could have been out on the streets themselves, or Charlie could have been doing it in school, drugs, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was in their world.
Yeah.
And somehow you took all of that and put it back together, and it's one solid family.
You know what's so awesome is every year my kids will come with me to my Monday night meeting that I've gone to for 12 and a half years, and they give me my token. And it's just really cool what comes out of their mouth. Because they're so eloquent in the way they speak. And I'm like, whoa, you got that out of me being sober? That's incredible. I mean...
And I think that is a lot, what they're saying is a lot of people hear your journey, because it's not unusual these days to be what you went through. Like in college, I mean... between the vaping and the drugs, it's more readily available now.
It is.
So this journey is ahead for so many college students, and to think in college is where you learned it best.
Right. And
to be sitting here today in one piece alive is incredible.
And I'm glad that Charlie knows of my sobriety journey and what I do to keep sober. Yeah. And the steps and stuff. Yeah. He's known those as well, just from going to meetings. Mm-hmm. That he will always have that seed in his head. So if he starts drinking a lot, like he will never not think of me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So hopefully that keeps my kids on the straight and narrow. Well, I'm like, you know what? I've done so many drugs and drank so much. If you are even a little bit curious into it, I will know.
Oh, for sure.
So you better tell me. If anything,
but it's a healthy respect from them now.
Yeah.
They look at you and your hard work, and I think you discredit yourself so often, how hard you worked in 12 years to be here, because you could have gotten a bottle at any point and said, keep the kids, my ex-husband, I got to go back for this. But every day you've worked harder and harder and harder, and I think you kind of minimize it and think, I'm just today...
Well,
I've gotten this far, but we see it, right, Eric?
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys are part of the reason.
It's like a superhero.
I mean, well, Wow, thank you.
Right? Am I right? Like,
Totally.
that's why when we're out to dinner and we see someone, like we don't want, I know that's, you can handle it and you're good at it, but to us, we don't like it. You know, we don't want that in your path.
I tell people, you know what, you do you,
Yeah.
and I'll do me. You drinking right in front of me is not going to make me want to pick up a drink.
No.
But I appreciate that, and my current situation that I'm in, he drinks a lot.
Yeah.
And he kept a beer in my refrigerator the other day, and I had to say something to him. I said, you know what, look,
You've worked too hard.
you can do you,
Yeah.
but please, I do not want to see this. That's crossing
That's
the
a
line.
trigger. And that's
It's
a
just
trigger.
crossing the
Yeah.
line. I just
Right.
don't like seeing it.
Yeah.
It's
You should
never
be able-
been in there, and I never want it to be in
And you should
there.
be able to have a sober household.
Right,
You
exactly.
worked
And
that
he
hard for
was
that.
very respectful about that,
Good.
and he was
Well,
like,
and-
"I'm sorry, I really, truly am." And
And
Yeah.
it's interesting that you say that because I watched the show Mom
yes,
with Allison
Mom.
Janney
Yeah.
and what's her name? And it's about a mom and a daughter who are both alcoholics and they live together. Anna Faris is the
Oh yeah,
the daughter.
Anna Faris and Allison Janney.
In just one of the I think it was last week's episode, they have another character that's been on for a while, and it is oh my gosh, she was on anyway. She's a blonde actress, and it plays a friend of theirs that has gone through rehab and everything, and she starts dating a cop, and the cop drinks a lot. And she's been dating him, and she says to the two, I don't think I can see him anymore. I'm going to go tell him that I can't see him anymore because he drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes and she says, I can't see you anymore. And he says, why? Everything was going so well, why? And she says, because you drink a lot. And he goes, well, I can always drink less. And she's like, wait, you would do that for me? And he goes, sure. All you had to do was ask.
Wow.
And
I
so
haven't asked
it
that.
was, it was a really, it's a very, very good show, and it's a very well-written show, and it handles that, the responsibility that they take, and they talk about the 12 steps, and they also make it funny, but it was a very poignant scene, and it was very funny, and it was sad, and it was very heartwarming, when he goes, well, I could always drink less.
Aww.
And
Did you
she-
ask Antonio when you asked him about the beer in the fridge? What was it received well?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
encouraging.
He goes, well, let me take that with me, and then
Because he, honestly, when I see him, respects you incredibly.
He does, and
It's mind-blowing, his respect for you.
I absolutely love him. I just want to hug him all the time. Like he's the nicest guy.
he really is. So I've never asked him. I've never asked
try.
anybody to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
if they're
that
with
might
you,
be-
wouldn't that be more comfortable
Yes,
for
absolutely.
you?
Yes, there have been
Yeah.
times when I've talked about this on the podcast when I've
Yeah.
come and I've met him and he's been hammered,
Yeah, and it's healthier.
but it's totally healthier.
Yeah.
And he's an awesome guy. And
Yeah,
the
he
guy I
is.
was with before was an awesome guy who
Awesome
also
guy.
helped
Drake.
me a lot through this whole thing.
Yeah.
And was very,
He was a
very
big cheerleader as well.
supportive.
He
Yeah.
was.
And then, of course, my best friend Stacy and Tommy, my
Yeah.
mom and my
Yeah.
sister and my brother. I mean, God, my mom, I can't even tell you how many times I've called her crying over the years,
She's so solid.
Oh, my God. But
She's like your rock.
remember, just let go, let God. Just take a minute to pause and give your problems up to God. Whatever you see God as. It could
Right,
be
higher
nature,
power.
but
Whatever
we are not in charge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think mine is a God. I believe in God. But
Yeah.
some people think it's Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think it's completely, Buddha or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So
Well, it's interesting. I had to about 2 years ago, a mutual friend. I was just saying this today. Was so in the throes of alcoholism that my friend and I had to separate ourselves from him because it was just getting too toxic.
Mm-hmm.
It was, we could see it, and we both said to him, we had an intervention with him, and we said, we will go with you. You are so bad. This is not just an observation of the two of this. Your boss is saying things, and and it's noticeable. You're drinking in the morning while you're at work. you know, you're drinking